Welcome, welcome. Wow, today it's such a privilege to have Grace Tan. I've known Grace for a couple of years now, and I think you reminded me just now, Grace, that we've known each other since before COVID. So we're before COVID friends. Grace Tan is a wonderful photographer, videographer, and of course, an amazing coach. So welcome, Grace.
Thanks, Mel. Pleasure to be here. I don't know, time flies, right? 2019, I think end of
Yes.
2019 was the first time we actually had a conversation over the phone. And after
Yeah,
that is when I actually signed up for the certification course.
that's
Was
right.
perfect timing to be doing a course over COVID.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'm just curious, like always, what drew you into coaching, from obviously running your business as a photographer?
Yeah. I think it was really curiosity, you know. I
Mm,
think I first got to know about what coaching was about, or rather life coaching,
mm.
was through a book I was reading, and
Wow.
the author of the book was actually a life coach. So I was like, what's a life coach? So that was like years ago. And
Yeah.
over time the interest and the curiosity grew. And that was when, like, I think around 2019, I was thinking to myself, you know what, I think
Mm,
I better find out a little bit more what it's all about. And as I was going through that process of like just discovering, and it was really
yeah.
about like, let's just learn something new, right? And that was kind of like how I discovered you. It was through a friend, and
Yeah.
that's
That's
how I
right.
said, like, okay, I think, when I hear more and I know more about what coaching is about, I think this is something that I feel that I could do. And for me as a business owner, I've always been, I guess, my whole entire life, not just as a business owner, as a person, I've always been very reflective,
Yeah.
very introspective. I ask myself a lot of questions, and perhaps unknowingly self-coached myself without knowing even the term.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. So
Wonderful.
yeah, it was a natural progression.
Mm, mm. And that natural progression started with curiosity, and that curiosity continued. And you know what? Congratulations. After these couple of years, you've attained your ACC. Wow.
Thank you.
It's so good, right? How do you feel, firstly?
Oh, I feel good. I feel good because it took me a few years to get here. Well, I suppose I only thought about really doing the
Mm,
ACC around 2022.
okay.
Uh, because yeah, 2020 was the whole year was pretty much like getting the certification. And then
Yeah.
2021 was about me just immersing myself in what coaching really is,
Mm,
practicing, figuring myself out. What do I
yeah.
really want to, or
Yeah.
who do I really want to be as a coach, right?
Yeah. That's
Just
right.
joining like ICF Malaysia, and it was still COVID times, right? So we were all doing a lot of things online. And then I think after that, that's when I thought, yeah, maybe this will be a personal growth moment for me. And also perhaps it might open doors for other opportunities. And so
Mm,
that's when I started thinking about ACC a little bit more seriously. Yeah. And that's when I thought, okay, 2023, I'll get it done. But procrastination happened. I got busy with my other business, and
yes.
yeah, and then by the end of 2023, like, I think panic set in. It's like, no, you didn't do the stuff that you said you would do.
Holding yourself accountable as a coach. Wonderful.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And because I actually have it printed out and it's in
Mm,
my office space. It's like sitting there, the goals of 2023, and it kept staring back at me like, this is
yeah.
one thing I didn't achieve in
Yeah.
2023. And then
Mm,
that's when I said, okay, I will get over this whole procrastination and really get down to doing something in 2024. And so that was what happened. Yeah. And I did it. So
wow.
I managed to complete the whole exam recently. It was just
Yes.
only a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there is a couple of things that one needs to do for those who are hearing this for the very first time. Of course, you join a program like Catalyst Coach, your level one program, and then there is that mentoring, and then that 100 hours, right, Grace? That 100
Yeah.
hours of coaching. And of course, once that is done, then the new exam is what it's called that everybody sits for. Tell us a little bit about that 100 hours and of course that exam, if possible.
Yeah. Well, I think ever since day one after I got my certification,
Yeah,
I was thinking like I'm gonna record how many hours of coaching
that's
I'm
smart.
doing. Yeah, so I downloaded a template from
Hmm,
ICF website,
that's right.
and then I just started filling up the information every time I did coaching, whether it's pro
Yeah.
bono or it was a paid coaching session. I will record all of that. And it
Hmm.
was also very satisfying to see the numbers go up and thinking, wow, like,
It's like your bank account. It's like,
yeah,
ooh, saving.
yeah. And I think actually recording something, and this is where my husband, who's very, very good at tracking stuff, like he always tells me, like, you won't know how far you progress unless you track, right? You look at
Yeah,
things, and
that's true.
it's great. It's a great thing to do. Um,
Hmm.
always from the start. So then rather than looking back when you're thinking I need to get my certification
Yeah.
or sorry, credentialing, and then only start thinking like how many hours of coaching have I accumulated?
Yes.
Yeah. So I did that from the beginning. And so that was the
That's
easy
nice.
part for me actually.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, the I think the hardest part which I procrastinated a lot was actually doing the recording, or rather
Okay.
finding the best recording to submit.
Yeah.
I found that that whole process for me it was a growth journey for me because I think my own perfectionist nature took over and wanting to like have the best coaching recording. And
Sure. Of
I was super
course.
critical of every single recording that I did. And I just accumulated all these recordings, which
Mm,
to me, I was like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. And I think it came to a certain stage where I just realized that, you know
mm,
what? I'm just on this growth journey,
yeah.
and it's okay to not have it look perfect. Like, at least for me, it's like, I feel maybe 70 to 80% happy about that,
Yeah.
then let's just go for that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was how I finally overcame the whole fear of submitting that recording and did it in 2024. And then
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic.
yeah. Yeah. And then after that was the credentialing and preparing for the exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess actually what I found that, like, there are some free resources out there, and thank you, Mel, for sharing some of the
You're
resources.
welcome.
I also found helpful information. I think there's a Facebook group, like a ICF Facebook group, and which I'm part of, and they also share, I mean, every now and then someone's doing the ACC or exam, and I found information from there, and I kind of saved it all up in all these links, and I went through bit
Mm,
by bit. What I found was very helpful was going through the mock exam questions.
yeah.
Of course, there's only 8 samples on the ICF website, which every other person would have an explanation of the 8. I
Yeah.
mean, in terms of what you can find in knowledge. But like, I think one of there was a sample mock exam, and going through that was very helpful for me. I think about 40 plus or 50 questions, I can't recall now. And that mock exam helped me to think like, oh, actually, what did I find challenging? What was
Mm,
it that was easy, you know? So I thought for myself, like to myself, the hardest thing was actually trying to distinguish between the bad and the worst answer.
yeah.
Yeah, so for me, that was the part I think I took a lot of time trying to reflect and like which, how's this worded, and what does this really mean? Yeah, so that was the challenge for me in trying to
Mm,
go through that process.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
but it was helpful going all through all the materials. Of course, I read through a lot of articles on the ICF website itself, and watch their videos about all the, core
wow.
competencies. Yeah.
You
So
definitely deserve to pass. After all the hard work that you've put through, right? You are super ready, for the exam. Well done.
yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Now that you have achieve this milestone, what's next for Grace Tan, the coach?
Mm. I feel that coaching has for the past 4 years been
Mm,
something that a wonderful journey actually for me, kind of discovering how to how to become a coach, to
mm.
how to run a coaching business,
Yes.
how to
Two
get
different things.
clients.
Two
Yeah,
different things.
obviously, two very different things. But having run my own photography business for
Yes.
15 years now, it
Yeah,
has definitely put me one step ahead in trying to figure out the business side of things.
correct.
Right. So that part of it, like I think I took my time to discover and think about stuff. And I think because I was not in a hurry the past 4 years or felt pressured to really grow my coaching business, then
Mm,
I felt actually quite at ease at the pace I was going. But I think now, moving forward, I feel I'm ready to actually take it to another step, another level.
yeah.
And what that looks like for me would be really to be more intentional about looking at how I can attract the right clients to me, and how to, potentially look into collaborations or partnerships with
Mm,
different people,
yeah.
and to see how I could just explore, opportunities out there. Yeah, so
Mm.
that's where I think I'm going to be moving towards with coaching, and I can't wait to see where it takes me.
And I can't wait to see what that brings as well. Lots of obviously learnings and successes in the very near future. I just have one last question.
Yeah,
Grace, thinking about it, 2019 is when you stepped in, and there are people stepping in into this journey right now, right?
yeah.
What will be your little bit of advice for them as they step in into this world of coaching?
Wow. I think I would say try not to rush
Okay.
into being like running a coaching business. I mean I don't know where you come from,
Yeah.
whether you're intending to make this into a full-time or a job like in the future or anything like that. But I felt for me like giving myself that space and time to discover who I was as a coach,
Yeah.
and what do I really want to do. And that really gave me a bit more solid foundation instead of feeling very pressured to make the money, oh, this is my only form of support,
Yeah.
and all those kind of financial concerns, right? So you're kind of worrying about that part of that, and instead of growing as a coach and growing and thinking about your direction and stuff like that. So if you do have that kind of luxury of time, I would say that would be a great thing to do, to spend that time, however long you need, right, to
Yeah.
actually define who you want to be and
Wow.
what kind of coach, uh, who do you want to help, right? All of those kind of things,
Yeah.
because then that would take you and solidify that foundation a lot more and build relationships. I felt for me one of the greatest things that happened to me over the past 4 years was really getting to know the coaching community. They're so
Mm.
supportive, like everybody I met. I mean, of course, these are coaches. Like coaches are generally very supportive, right? So they
Yes.
have almost, no, almost everybody I met in the whole industry really were so supportive towards me as a new coach, asking a lot of different questions. So I felt like immersing myself in the community
Mm.
was really one of the best things that I did
Wow.
in my first 1 2 years getting to know people. Yeah.
Mm.
So I believe that that's the great thing, that if you can do that, like get yourself into a community of coaches, and then get that support that you need, find yourself, and then when all of these things are good, that's when like probably you can start thinking a little bit more about the business side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be what I would suggest.
Thank you so much, Grace. It's been a journey and it's been wonderful just watching you grow and become this amazing coach, of course, mother, and all the different hats that you wear so
Yeah,
faithfully.
yeah, take them off
And
every now and then. Swap hats.
absolutely. We really wishing you the best ahead and really thank you once again for sharing your heart out here with
No,
everyone.
thank you. Thank you so much, Mel, because, obviously, it's been such a wonderful journey doing this with you, with Catalyst coaches, and even seeing that community
Thank you.
of people. You've taken us from one level to another level, and I am so appreciative of the support, even after so many years, right? And the relationship that we continue to
Yeah,
have and
that's
grow.
right.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Celebrate you. Thanks.
Yay!